There's a brotherhood of men that exist. Men that live by a creed and live up to this scripture. Be watchful, stand firm in the faith, act like men, be strong. Let all you do be done in love. Join us now with Trace, Big Guns Chamberlain, and David Fortin on Growls from the Man Cave. Brought to you by Bear Wozniak and BearSchoolOfManliness.com.
Welcome to the first edition of Growls from the Man Cave with your host, Trace Chamberlain, and my co-host, Dave Fortin.
Hey,
how you doing?
How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
Good. Are you as excited about this project as I am?
Yes, I am. I could not believe that Bear Wozniak asked us to do this project of on the Growls from the Man Cave, where we're going to talk with the men of the Man Cave. And you've got a little bit extra stuff that you can tell us about what we're going to be doing too there, Dave. Go ahead.
Well, we're going to be just really exploring and getting to know the guys that are involved with Bear's Man Cave. We're going to get to know these men, what makes them tick, what they're in it for, and what it is that makes them the men that they are.
That is great, because and also I believe that we're going to have try to get some guests off of the Bear Wozniak Long Ride Home series. See what the men have start doing now. From whenever they were in the show to where they're standing at now. And hey, I do have a question for you, Dave, before we get into introducing ourselves and kind of our background. Is how did you get to know Bear Wozniak?
It's funny. I host a podcast along the way, casual conversations with interesting people. And I have like 110 episodes now. Well, Bear was number 5. And it was when I interviewed Bear that I think that show really found its present form. And I thank Bear every time I see him for making me a better man every time I meet him or talk with him. He's always sharing something of value. He's such a great mentor, and I've had the opportunity to interview him a few times. And as I say, I'm always left a better person, and that's what I hope that the show delivers a message that makes men better people.
I'm hoping so. Also, it also reach out to the younger generation, because the younger generation, they are going to be the future of the church and of the faith. But as for me, I met Bear Wozniak a little later, but whenever I started my journey on becoming Catholic, I ended up losing my job. And I was sitting at home one night. I was watching EWTN, getting all faithed up with Mother Angelica, and I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there, and it's getting late. It's rolling into about 11, 12 o'clock Central Time. So I say a prayer, and it probably bounced off the ceiling. No, I'm joking. All prayers, God hears all prayers. But anyway, I left the TV on, headed out the room, and right as I got to the kitchen door there, all of a sudden I hear this, "Get your manliness on, ride thunder with the pack." And man, I jerked my head around, and I'm like, okay, somebody just turned the channel, and it wasn't me. I was the only one in there. And I stepped back, and it was Bear Wozniak's Long Ride Home. So I walked back in, I sat down, and I watched the very first episode of the Long Ride Home series. And I tell you what, during that series, the Holy Spirit spoke to me, and it was like, you got to get a hold of this man. And before I went to bed that night, I tried to search and find emails or whatever. And so I found his website and sent an email. And next thing I know is I'm getting an email back, and the journey goes from there. We become, friends, and it's been great.
Yeah, it's pretty. Pretty amazing guy. Really, man, what was it about that show that touched your heart?
Well, I guess what touched my heart was men being men. Just being well, lack of a better word, just being gritty.
Mhm.
Going out and doing what a man can do. You
Right.
just and they professing their faith. Not
Hmm.
not backing off. In public. That's what it takes in today's world. Is someone to stand up for your faith, whether it's in public, whether it's right before the meal, saying grace, and not be afraid to, you know,
Hmm.
just, I mean, it is great. You had, Father Mark Gorey, and you got all kinds of guys from all across the spectrum, you
Yeah.
know, which is great.
I'm not a biker, that, but I just learned so much from watching that whole series. I've just binge watched the whole first season again. And,
Right.
you know, s- the guy that I really, really like was Tony Orban, who went from Florida all the way over to California with Bear. He's the guy
Well,
that made the whole trip. Everybody else wrote a portion of it. And it really kind of speaks to our lives because you're going to have those friends that you meet along the way. But, there's
true.
guys that are going to ride the whole ride with you. And like I said, um, and that's kind of brings me to my next point. You and I met along our way. You were
Yes,
a
we did.
guest on on my podcast that and it came at a time when I really, really was down. It was dark period of my life. I was having a heart attack. I had 3 interviews scheduled that day. One was a gentleman from Texas. The other one was the Bishop of Killaloe, Ireland. And another guy was from Louisiana named Trace Big Guns Chamberlain. And I remember just all kinds of uh, medical equipment being brought in, and I was hooked up to everything. And I just remember getting text messages from you asking me if I was all right, and um, saying that you were praying for me. And from that point on, man, it's been fast friends. We're every day just about we're talking with each other.
And sometimes a few more times than just once a day.
Yeah.
But
Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Yeah, I know,
that's right.
but I love it. I enjoy it. I love it. And yeah,
Well,
I thank you for your friendship. I thank you for your brotherhood. And honestly, Trace, I've told you this many times before. You are my spiritual bodyguard.
I hope I can live up to that. I try my best.
You
You know,
got the
I'm just
size.
I'm just a man that the Lord's thrown a conviction on, and I try to listen to him because
Hmm.
there for many years, and I didn't listen. I,
Hmm.
so
You,
I
you,
guess leading off into that, I'll just kind of start off a little bit of background about myself.
hmm.
Uh, I was raised Southern Baptist. Anytime the doors were open, we were there. Mom was the in the music. Dad was the deacon. I mowed the grass, cleaned the auditorium, all kinds of things there. But college came around, high school ended, and man, I was ready to get out. And I didn't. I left and really didn't turn back, and really didn't pay much attention to the Lord. I never fell all the way away, but I just didn't come and visit. But
Hmm.
around 2019, I my wife now we went to mass, and it was a Latin mass. I've been to masses before,
Hmm.
but this was totally different. And something grabbed a hold of me and said, "Trace, this is what you need." Uh, and so my journey started in the Catholic faith, and it from there on, it just is growing. We'll discuss it later on, whenever we're interviewing some men, some things will come up. But
Sure.
uh, my background is I work in oil and gas. Uh, been in the oil industry since 1983. Uh, also, I am a founder, president, and chaplain of the Oilfield Ironmen Riding Club that I started back in 2010. Which also there's a division of the riding club called Iron Sharpens Iron. Ultimately, that is the ministry side of it.
Mhm.
That God had spoke to me somewhere around in 20, and I just told him to take the handlebars of my life, and I'll hang on for the ride. And boy, what a ride it's been!
Amen, brother.
But anyway, how about you, Dave?
Well, you know what, Trace? It's funny because I was a cradle Catholic, walked away from my faith when I graduated. I think it was even before I graduated from high school. My mother was somebody who used the Catholic faith as a weapon, so I kind of walked away. Uh, got involved with a Pentecostal church down in your state, down in Louisiana. I know you're not from there originally, but I lived in Alexandria, Louisiana for a while, and was involved with the Pentecostal church. Got out of the military, moved back home, and I just went a lot of years without any kind of faith. Just, my only prayer was, God, thank you for this day of life, and it wasn't because I was thankful for anything. It was just that I hadn't died and gone to hell that day. That's really how it was. Just I was on autopilot, and I thought I was the one that was flying that plane, but
right.
I came to find out that I wasn't. Married a beautiful woman named Lori, and she introduced me to the rosary, reintroduced me to the rosary, and began to pray the rosary. And then the rosary began to become a part of me. It began to come alive, and it's really what grounded me back into the faith. And my journey back to the faith is truly a to Jesus through Mary. I discovered the Divine Mercy Chaplet through the Rosary.
That could, something to say about the rosary. That's actually kind of what brought me to it. Also, is
Yeah,
the rosary, and you know how I feel about the rosary.
I
I,
do.
I say it all the time whenever I end my other channel of Iron Sharpens Iron. But
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, my if you can have a favorite, you know, mysteries of the rosary is
Yep.
mine's a sorrowful mystery, Dave. It's
Yeah.
just I cannot believe that someone could give their life for me.
Yeah. And I think that's
And
why that group of mysteries is so important to people, is because it shows the lengths that Jesus Christ went for us.
oh yeah, and whenever you sit there and you just kind of meditate on them, you don't rush through it, and you think about that mystery, about whenever he's in the garden and
Mm-hmm.
he's praying so hard he's sweating blood,
Yeah.
and then he sits there and he's beat, by Pilate, and
Mm-hmm.
just just scourged, skin, you see depictions, but the scourgings and stuff, if you study about those, it's I mean there's bones, it's down to bone,
Yeah.
chunks of flesh are gone, and then it just goes on from there. You just can't believe it. Just But anyway, i'll
Do
I'll
you
talk
ever
about.
put yourself in those mysteries?
Yes,
As
I did.
Yeah, that's key. I think that's
Yeah.
key, is that you really gotta put yourself in those mysteries so that you can really experience them.
Well, I got to where, I was saying the rosary, and it seemed like it was just getting repetitive. And
Yep.
so I I prayed, and I just took a step back and slowed down. And if you slow down and think about it, you know, it it puts you in the right mindset, where
Absolutely.
it's not just a habit. A lot of people uh they're in just a habit of saying some quick prayers and going. but
Right.
I get up and I say our Father, and followed by some other prayers. And
Hmm.
I've learned to slow down and take my time with it and understand, that's the prayer that Christ gave us, was our Father prayer.
Hmm.
You know, I believe that's the strongest prayer that you could pray because, Jesus gave us that one.
Hmm.
But anyway,
Hail Mary's got some power to it too, though.
well, I tell you what, I say plenty of those. That's right. Every
Mama
time.
Mary,
Yeah.
she's got some pull in heaven.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Uh, anyway, let's talk about the show a little bit there, Dave. What we want
Well,
it to be.
actually, my friend, we got to take a short break.
Now you can journey with other men on the adventure of a lifetime, growing in manly virtue through Bear's Man Cave community and our 3-year School of Manliness. Join at deepadventure.com. Better yet, you can lead your own sons through the same compelling video, audio, and written content. Can you imagine how much deeper your relationship with your dad could have been, and how much more you could have learned and pitfalls you might have avoided if your dad had a tool like this to help to draw you both into a deeper, life-changing discussion? Now you have a trigger that you can pull that will take you into gritty discussions with other men and with your sons at deepadventure.com. We invite our mama bears to join with us at deepadventure.com. You'll have access to all of the Long Ride Home TV shows even before they air on EWTN, plus 3 years of the shareable Ocean Sunrise Daily Catechism videos, plus at deepadventure.com a 20% discount at our online store with all of our great t-shirts and clothes and books and rosaries and medals and all kinds of accessories. You'll also get an autographed copy of Bear's latest book, and for a limited time, a Catholic biker stuffed teddy bear, all at deepadventure.com. Come on, Mama Bears, let's hear you roar.
Find out more about The Cave and Bear Wozniak's book, 12 Rules for Manliness, Where Have All the Cowboys Gone, at bearschoolofmanliness.com. Now back to Growls from the Man Cave.
Hey, Trace, we're back.
Hey, Dave, thank you. I wasn't watching the timer. I just keep talking. You know that.
Hey, that's what you know what I fear that's what a lot of these shows are going to be like, because we're going to be talking with some great guys. We're going to have Bear on pretty soon. I mean, you got to start a show that he endorses with Bear.
That's true.
Then,
that's true.
And then we're going to have Pat Gervais, who is the big voice. Like, he's that guy that you answered the call to roll thunder with the pack.
That's right. That was his voice. He is the voice.
And he's a great guy too.
And I'm afraid that this little 30-minute segments, there's going to be a lot of part twos, because these guys are there's some great guys. I've already been to a couple of meetups down in Florida. We have a get together, an annual get together, and it's might be 10, might be 12 guys, but it's a group that's tight. You can talk, you can open up, and what stays in the group stays in the group. So you can open up to the men and just let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I'm involved with a group here in Connecticut called ACTS, and they have a thing called the River Rule. And like you say, what happens there stays there. What you say there stays there, because that's really what men need is a place to just open up, pour out their hearts, and feel safe, that they're not going to be judged, that they're not going to be ostracized. And that's what we hope, to a point. I mean, we're not going to be sharing confessional secrets here, but we want to help guys to grow. And I think vulnerability and personal testimonies are a great way to help guys grow.
Yes, it is. And ultimately, like the other little show that I shoot, little videos, quickies, it's you got a band of brothers that you can go to, and you're basically iron sharpens iron. You're there as a man to help sharpen the constitution of another man, and to to get him to where he wants to help others, and us as men all draw closer to the Lord. So
I love that constitution, sharpening another man's constitution. I love that mission statement. Where did you come up with that?
I looked at it as whenever I read that part, and
Mm-hmm.
With what God is kind of leading the ministry section of the motorcycle riding club. It's basically you're there to help others, to sharpen the constitution. I know I say of other men, but
Mm-hmm.
it's of other people,
Right.
so
No, I like that, because Bear always talks about, especially in his book, having that creed that you live by.
the creed and the code. And then
Yep.
I can't wait to get him on here so he can talk about the 12 rules of manliness, where have all the cowboys gone, because
Mm-hmm.
that'll probably be a part 1, 2, 3, and probably a 4. So
Aren't there 12 rules?
yeah, there's 12 rules. We might have to have 12 of them, but because you can really go into those rules. But
They are. And
anyway,
yeah.
just I'm hoping that, like I said, this little segment that we're doing, I hope it brings in the younger men, and
Mm-hmm.
that way, and just help build relationships from father and son,
Mm-hmm.
possibly discussing what the role of a father should be. I've missed, I have 5 children, and helped raise 6 others, but uh, I missed I missed all their years of growing up because I thought I had to chase the almighty dollar. And whenever it's gone, you don't get it back. All you can do is move on and try to, not really make amends, but you make up for lost, try to make up for lost time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just something that, every man should do. Always take time for your family. I look at it now as, God, God first. My real vocation is my family, and then my job. So, and I try to keep them in that order.
Trace, how do you think your motorcycle ministry reaches younger people?
Well, right now, Dave, that's something that we're trying to grow. It's still on. I guess you would. I would guess you would call it. We're just now planting the seed, and
Yep.
and we're trying to be good gardeners, which happen to be bikers, and trying to water that seed a little bit. But
Mm-hmm.
there's a few guys that are in different chapters throughout the United States that are really interested in picking up the role as being uh, the go-to person in the chapter. You just don't pray for people. You actually pray with them, and
Yeah, absolutely.
that's what we try to do, because the places that we go, the people we see, you know I can't remember who said it, 1 foot in the church, 1 foot in the mud. I got, sometimes I have to meet them where they're at, just like Jesus did.
Mm-hmm.
If they're on the street, they're going to meet us.
I
And
think you're talking, when you said that, I think when you said that, you're talking about my good friend Deacon Don Prendergast, who was a member of the Connecticut, not the Connecticut, the Catholic Crossbearers Motorcycle Ministry, but is
okay,
now he's now a chaplain in the Punishers.
okay,
So he is a deacon in Florida, and a shout out to him.
that's good,
Yep.
because that's what it takes. A lot of people, uh, just I can't remember. I think I saw a little short video. A preacher was up, and he was like sitting there, and he was talking. He goes, we're not just a church to come together and sit in these pews. He said, why don't y'all stand up for a minute? He said, feel where you was sitting. It's warm, isn't it? They go, yeah. He goes, and if you sit there too long, that's how the pew got its name. It's pew. He said, we are meant to go out into the world and save souls,
Absolutely, bro.
not just sit in the pew and warm the bench. So
Absolutely. That's why I love, one of my favorite things about the Mass is when our deacon says, now go out and
spread the gospel.
Spread the gospel and to glorify God with your lives. That to me is just such a call to action.
Yes, it is. And that's what we should do. That's what we should do. So anyway, I don't know where we're at, Dave. Is it about time to do
Trace,
the wrap up?
We got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left. So
with that said, everyone, come back and watch the next episode of Growls from the Man Cave, where it will give you the grit and the grace to follow God.
Trace, close it out the way you always do.
Like I say on another show, the rosary is a mighty warrior's weapon that will defeat Satan and all the evil spirits that prowl about the world seeking to ruin us souls. Each time you push or pull one of these beads, it's like taking your finger and just poking Satan in the chest. So continue to help me and Dave with these rosaries. Poke Satan in the chest. Have a blessed day.
And Big Guns and I will be praying that your troubles be less, your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. We will see you next time.
Growls from the Man Cave is brought to you by Bear Wozniak and BearSchoolOfManliness.com in conjunction with Spirit of Truth Radio Arts. Join the Man Cave now at BearSchoolOfManliness.com.